Wishing well, oh, wishing well, you never grant my wish. You can't tell me shit, oh no, you can't tell me shit, no. Hey, I really consider being honest. I don't think I will just for her sake. I can turn water into wine on the first date, give a little taste of the wordplay. Keep looking at me like the good guy, but damn, in the moment I'm heartless. I need to keep feeding my ego with starving cigars in the building. This shit is alarming. Like I can throw my coins in the fountain, wishing doesn't bring any change. Try to turn grams into ounces, no matter how long did I wait, it's the same on the scale. Championship, well that ship has been sailed. So what, we get high cause we all been through hell. I grew up thinking a coin is a wish, so I put all my money inside of a well. That was my favorite. I'm running out of time, might not make it. Gave you everything, I see no changes. Now I'm making a statement. Where did all my money go? I don't think I'll ever know. Wishing well, oh wishing well, you never grant my wish. Yeah, I know there's gotta be way more to life than this. Made me feel incredible. Wish I didn't let it go. Wishing well, oh wishing well, you never grant my wish. You can't tell me shit, oh no, you can't tell me shit, no. Running me dry, I don't need nothing. I really try to seem tough, I don't need love, I don't need nothing.
All right, here we go. This time it's actually working. I'm not 100% sure what happened last time. I tried to come on here live and it was frozen. You guys just had me, with a stupid look on my face. So, thank you if you still made it to this one. We're gonna be talking some NFL free agency. I know I'm a little scatterbrained here now. I'm still trying to get my notes back up here. So much stuff has happened today. I know I didn't even do an episode Friday. I was out watching some state championship basketball here in Maryland. So, geez, my hair is terrible. But it is what it is. From the title, NFL free agency, MLB free agency just happened to come on the same time this year because of the lockout in the MLB and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of news that, I just want to touch on some stuff. I will get into some stuff, deeper that I think has bigger impact. But I just wanted to say that because I'm not going to get to everything. There's 32 teams making moves of, rosters of at least right now, like 90 players, but 53-man rosters. So a lot of moving and shaking going on there. MLB heating up. NBA right now getting right up close to the playoffs here. I think there's only about 20, 25 games left for every team. So a little sprint to the finish here. Like I said, I'm going to get into all of that. I do want to give a quick shout out to Recreation. Let me use his music, set the vibes here. So if you're liking the music at all, go ahead and give him a follow or, listen to some of it on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. All his links are in the description of this video. Other than that, definitely like the stream. If you like me, if you don't like me, just still like the stream. Help your boy out just a little bit. Subscribe to the channel, even better. Other than that, let me just get right into it. So much stuff happened, and that's the other thing. If you are watching live with me or you following me on Instagram over this next week or so, just anything you see, send it over to at Average Sports Nerds. I'll talk about it on here. Like I said, there's so much to talk about. I want to talk about what people actually care about, what's relevant. So with that being said, we got to start with the GOAT. I mean, obviously everyone knows the GOAT, the greatest player of all time in football, that is Tom Brady, at least the greatest quarterback. So with that, he's coming back. I mean, I'm sure you've heard by now. He announced he's coming back for his 23rd NFL season. So that's good news for the Bucs, obviously. Not good news for their competitors in the NFC South, the NFC in general. I think I saw this makes them the co-favorites with the Rams right now to... Jeez, I got this one piece of hair that's sticking up. But I think it makes them the co-favorite with the Rams from what I saw. Now I'm hearing they're bringing back Carlton Davis, the cornerback, 3 years, $45 million. Ryan Jensen, the offensive lineman, I think he plays guard. But yeah, just, the Tom Brady effect. Obviously, when he announced he was coming back, you knew other players would want to come back, that were already there and play with him, and potentially other players that maybe might, from other teams that weren't looking at the Bucs, might be looking at the Bucs now. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure they're not done, but obviously that's the biggest news of the weekend so far. Just Tom Brady is back. And, if you're a fan of football, I mean, we're not all Tom Brady fans. I get that. I, for the longest time, was not a Tom Brady fan at all. But, it's good to see him back for sure. Sticking with some quarterback news, though, Mitch Trubisky is going over to the Steelers. So that is interesting, to say the least. Jeez. So, yeah, that's interesting for sure. Mitch Trubisky, personally, I don't know, man. Like, I don't necessarily like Mitch Trubisky. I'm not expecting him to go in there, become the next Ben Roethlisberger and be the franchise quarterback for the Steelers. I don't think anybody, that's their expectation. Like, if that doesn't happen, they'd be shocked. But with that being said, I don't know, man. I'm not ready to just completely throw in the towel on a guy. Like, I wasn't sold on him coming out of college, though. I will say that. So, it's hard to envision it, but I think Mitch Trubisky could be solid. I have the utmost respect for Mike Tomlin. 15 years with the Steelers, never a losing season. Many, many times in the playoffs. Even last year with the struggling Ben Roethlisberger, and, struggling is putting it lightly. He was pretty bad. So, I don't know. Mitch Trubisky, I think this would probably be one of the better spots for him, if he's going to get another opportunity. And I'm pretty much saying, just don't write off Mitch Trubisky just yet. Good coaching. The Steelers usually know how to produce receivers. I like the tight end they got. They got to upgrade the line, obviously, but they got weapons. So we'll see. Let me know what you think about Mitch Trubisky. Like I said, I don't think he's that great, and I'm not expecting, big things, but I wouldn't be shocked if if he's a solid starting quarterback. I don't think that's out of the question. Moving on, Kirk Cousins signed a 1-year extension with the Vikings. It is what it is. I don't think really I expected him to leave, so I'm not shocked or anything. I don't think it's huge news, but it is news. Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback. He's one of the better QBs in the league, so he's good. He's good. I give Kirk Cousins some credit. So shout out to the Vikings for not just making a rash move, letting go of Cousins. Yeah, sorry if I look down on my phone here right now. I'm just trying to stay relevant. If any news comes in, so I am trying to stay up on that as much as I can as well. Shout out to JPA Football actually as well on Instagram. Just this kind of random, but I get a lot of my information from him. I find that he's pretty reliable and definitely the fastest. He gets to it. He'll say according to Adam Schefter, and then I'll look and they'll both say 5 minutes ago. They both posted at him and Adam Schefter. So he's boom boom right on it. So yeah, it's not just Adam Schefter either. It's everyone. I don't know how whoever they does it. So JPA Football for the news, give him a shout out here. But other than that, they're outside of the quarterbacks, there's been some big moves there, as expected. J.C. Jackson, who was cornerback for the Patriots, they call him Mr. INT, at least I think that might be his Instagram name. But I think he led the league in picks with about 10. I don't know if that was last year or the year before. It might have been both years. He's been a big interception guy since he came in. So 5 years, $82 million or $82.5 million for him. Good deal. I'm not sure if this happened before before my last time I got on here, but they traded for Khalil Mack a few days ago, the Chargers, that is. So bringing in a good corner in Jackson, Khalil Mack, a good pass rusher, defensive lineman, and then also, as of about 15 minutes ago, defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day from the Super Bowl champion Rams is going over to the Chargers, staying in LA. So good for him, I guess. Doesn't have to move his family. But 3 years, $24 million. He was a solid piece on that line, right next to Aaron Donald a lot of times. So I think that's a good get. I think that's a good little haul on day one for the Chargers. I know Khalil Mack was a few days ago, but I just consider all that kind of right now like day one of free agency. I think they got a lot better. They re-signed Mike Williams. I'm pretty sure I talked about that on Thursday, but they did re-sign Mike Williams, so he's coming back. Obviously, still got Keenan Allen, still got Eckler, the weapons for Herbert. Now strengthen up the defense. Hopefully, can't remember his safety name right now. Derwin James, there it goes. Hopefully, Derwin James can stay healthy, and this team could be scary. I know they missed out on playoffs, like just barely. A crazy game with the Raiders, we all remember, but don't sleep on the Chargers this year. I think that's going to be the best division in football with them. Russell Wilson coming to the Broncos, the Chiefs. We know about their team, and then the Oakland Raiders, who were a playoff team last year. So I think that's the best division in football right now. At least on paper. We'll have to see how it plays out during the season. But Chargers are right up there in the thick of things, and not just the AFC West, but in the AFC in general. Moving on, the Cowboys and DeMarcus Lawrence agreed to a 3-year, $30 million deal, fully guaranteed. So, nice deal for him. At least it sounds like it, I guess. It was previously reported that they were going to ask him to either restructure or let him go, or something to that nature. So, I'm a little surprised by this deal. I think they kind of looked around and realized, DeMarcus Lawrence is one of the better defensive ends in the league, even if he's not putting up, huge sack numbers. He's a good guy to have on the team, so I'm pretty sure this will take down his cap number, but, over time, I guess, he'll make more money maybe. I mean, I don't know. If he had a good year this year, maybe he could have signed an even bigger deal next year, but $30 million guaranteed, hard to say no to that. So, the Cowboys bring him back. They also re-signed Michael Gallup, and that's right after they traded Amari Cooper to the Browns for pretty much just only a 5th-round pick. So, pretty much just got rid of Amari Cooper because of his contract. Re-signed Michael Gallup. I think it was like 5 years, $62 million or something like that. So, not ridiculous money by any means, but I'm really questionable on that one. I think Amari Cooper is a lot better than Michael Gallup personally. And Michael Gallup's also hurt. He's coming off an injury from last season. So I don't personally like that. I do like for their sake that they brought back DeMarcus Lawrence. So, right now I say, off-season's been a little meh for the Cowboys. Also hearing they're talking about trading Landon Collins, the offensive lineman. So we'll see what happens on that front. The Cowboys, like I said, their offseason so far has been a little meh. Did they really get that much better? I think not. I think they got a little bit worse so far. Getting rid of Amari Cooper, obviously, it's day one of free agency. So to be like, oh, they got worse. It is an overreaction, but we got to see what else they do. But as of right now, I wouldn't, if I was a Cowboys fan, which I'm clearly not, but if I was, I would be probably a little disappointed, at least so far. I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens. Moving on, the Florida teams are definitely making some moves. They needed to, for sure, definitely with the Jaguars. I'll start with them because they were worse. We all know how it went. Urban Meyer came in. He was terrible. Fired before the end of his first season in the NFL, so complete flame out there. Enough about Urban Meyer. Obviously, the Jaguars in general just did not have a good season. Trevor Lawrence was the runaway number one pick, franchise-changing quarterback. That was the narrative, and frankly, he didn't look that good. And I'm not going to blame him. I'm not going to jump off the bandwagon and say that he's going to be a bust. But at least, a lot of times great quarterbacks, even if they're on terrible teams, they have some flashes of greatness. and I just didn't really see that from him. He didn't really, like, I don't even think he had a touchdown. For every game that he played in this season. So, yeah, we got to see. They're helping him out, though. They're bringing in wide receiver Christian Kirk, 4-year deal for him. Pretty good money, $72 million. Could be up to $84 million. So, obviously, that's it's a big commitment. Haven't really done the math. I think if that 4-year $72 million, I think that would be 18 a year. So, that's almost $20 million a year. I'm not saying he's not worth it because, he's shown flashes and he's been behind Hopkins, who's one of the best receivers in the league. They also had A.J. Green this year. They brought in Zach Ertz. They drafted Rondale Moore, who had flashes. He looks like a pretty solid receiver. But Christian Kirk has flashed before. He's had games where, and he's strung a couple together in a row where you start to think like, okay, maybe this guy could be, a good starting receiver in the NFL. So he's going to have a chance to prove it in Jacksonville. They're also bringing in Zay Jones, wide receiver from the Raiders. A little bit less, high profile there, but they need receivers. Laviska Shenault, he's solid. I just don't think he's going to cut it. I'm pretty sure DJ Chark's a free agent now, and it doesn't look like they're bringing him back. So they definitely need receivers. I'm not super excited about those guys. I am, they're also bringing Evan Engram, the tight end from New York, who, again, he's kind of been a disappointment in New York, first-round pick. So that one's interesting to me. They're giving him $9 million, fully guaranteed. Could be $10 million, probably if he plays good. We'll see. We'll see. It's do or die for him. This is kind of a prove-it deal on his part. So with him, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, also bringing in offensive lineman from my Washington Commanders, Brandon Sheriff, who, multiple-time Pro Bowler, one of the better players on the Washington football team or Redskins or whatever we've been called for the last few years. He's been one of the better players on the team. So I think that's a really good pickup for them. Always got to strengthen up the offensive line. I would never call offensive line signings bad signings. So if you're looking for that on this channel, that's not going to happen. But yeah, I like that the Jaguars are being aggressive. I'm not 100% sold on the guys that they brought in. I do like Kirk. Zay Jones he's just a guy for me. Engram has potential, so it's decent. They also brought in linebacker Foy Olukun. I'm probably saying that wrong, but this guy's actually pretty solid. Pretty sure he was on the Falcons last year. And then defensive tackle Folorunsu Fataksi, who, again, sorry about the names here. He's a little rough for me, but he was a defensive tackle. Started 15 games last year for the Jets. So, I mean, he was pretty solid from, what I read. So, they're making moves. And obviously, they went and got him on the first day of free agency. So, they had an eye on him. They're really looking out for him. So, I think all of those guys are going to have a positive impact. I think the Jaguars should be better this year. And, Trevor Lawrence, with his draft pedigree, he is a guy that I really expect to take that next step next year and be a good quarterback. So we shall see. Doug Peterson is the coach who obviously Carson Wentz had his most success under. He won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles coming in as the backup quarterback in the playoff run and in the Super Bowl. So I don't know. Don't sleep on the Jags. This is time for excitement. First day of free agency, every team has a chance right now. So don't sleep on the Jags. They're making big moves. I'm not saying they're going to be in the playoffs or anything, but they might not be 2-15 this year. They might win 5 or 6. At least based on these moves. Shout out to our boy Andres in the comments. Always here to talk about the Ravens for sure. He said Chark to the Ravens. Potentially, I don't, dislike DJ Chark. I also don't think he's like the greatest receiver in the world. And I think the Ravens do need that guy. And, that guy probably isn't out there right now in free agency, just being honest. So DJ Chark, I think, that's a good option for them. I think also a guy like Jarvis Landry, if he can be a good possession receiver, with with a guy like Hollywood Brown taking the top off the defense, with Mark Andrews in the middle. So yeah, a guy like Chark, Jarvis Landry. I'm getting all the names mixed up. So much happening, like I said. But yeah, Jarvis Landry, DJ Chark, or I was thinking of somebody else for you guys, but yeah, one of those receivers. I think the Ravens would definitely be in the market for them, but I definitely think you guys should be looking at the draft. I think there's some good better receivers in the draft. I should say some better options. But yeah, here we go. More teams making big moves here. Dolphins, like I said, the Miami team's making moves. They signed defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah, gave him a pretty nice contract, which I don't have the details right now, but. Also, running back Chase Edmonds from the Cardinals. I was surprised. I didn't even know he was a free agent. He's solid. You know, I mean, he was hurt. He was banged up a little bit last year, but you know, if he can stay healthy, I don't know what they're doing with Myles Gaskin, but he's kind of a similar style back. I think they need a bigger back for sure in Miami, but hey, it is what it is. Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys also going there, so the slot receiver. Obviously didn't get, you know, amazing amount of playing time in Dallas behind Cooper and Gallup and CD Lamb. There it is. So Cedric Wilson, you know, he did have some flashes, so we'll see what they do. Tua is going to be the starting quarterback. Obviously, they are bringing in Teddy Bridgewater to be the backup, so I think that's some good, you know, stability. Tua hasn't been the most durable, so Teddy Bridgewater is not a bad quarterback. You know, he's not a bad backup for sure. I mean, obviously, if you're starting him, that's probably not the best situation to be in. But for the Dolphins, I like their moves a little bit. You know, I think they got better, definitely with Ogbah. Always use, you know, O-line and D-line, win the game in the trenches. Always could use that. Cedric Wilson, I actually really like him. Chase Edmonds, if he can stay healthy, and then, you know, some backup stability with Bridgewater. Always good. You guys can let me know what you guys think about these teams. You know, which of these teams do you guys think got better, you know, is the most improved, I should say, on the first day? Let me know, you know. I personally had to say, you know, with the information so far, I don't know. I would say the Jaguars are probably the most improved. I do like the moves they made, or maybe the Chargers, just improving that defense and also, you know, stabilizing the offense by bringing back Mike Williams. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Actually, I like the Jaguars too, but I think the Chargers are going to be a force this year. I'm really expecting them to step up. I'm really expecting Justin Herbert to be the guy. You know, he has been the guy definitely for that franchise and for that team, but he's going to have to, you know, elevate his game even to another level because, you know, he hasn't made the playoffs yet. So, and they had a good chance, you know, win and get in the playoffs. You really can't ask for much more. He didn't come through, you know, just plain and simple. You can say, you know, the team didn't play that well. He did bring them back in the game, and then they couldn't get a stop. But, you know, he could have been better for sure, especially in that first half. So, Justin Herbert and the Chargers, they're on notice right now, you know, after the moves they've been making for sure. I mean, we can't just miss Denver either, but I kind of considered that last week. So I'll say they improved the most last week. But other than that, I'm just gonna, you know, rapid fire off some big signings that I thought, you know, just some more low key ones that don't really need too much explanation. So here we go. Bengals signed former Bucs O-lineman Alex Kappa, 4 years, $40 million. So Tom Brady losing a guy on the line, huge for both teams. Bengals needed line, we know it. Bills signed defensive tackle Tim Settle to a 2-year deal. I only bring this up as a Washington Commanders fan. If you watched my team closely for the last few years, Tim Settle has been an unsung hero. You know, he's a defensive tackle, so he's not going to get a lot of credit. But him going to the Bills and an already solid defense, good signing for them. You might, you know, not ever hear his name until the playoffs next year or something. He probably will make a big play. So I'm sad to see Tim Settle go for sure. Other than that, Deshaun Watson has rejected every team except the Panthers and Saints so far, according to reports. we'll see. You know, I don't know how accurate that is. Browns are releasing Jarvis Landry, who I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, and saying, you know, a team like the Ravens, that could be a solid spot for him. You know, I'm sure he wants to go somewhere with a good quarterback after playing, you know, his career so far with Miami and the Browns. Definitely got to go to a good quarterback. Packers are releasing Zadarius Smith, but re-signed Preston Smith. So the Smith brothers are no longer, obviously not brothers, and you know nobody's probably ever going to say that again since they're not on the same team. Devontae Adams refusing to play under the franchise tag, according to Rap Sheet, Ian Rappaport. So that's huge, obviously. So we'll see. I think they'll come to a deal. It's Devontae Adams. They just made Aaron Rodgers the highest paid guy ever, and you know he's been kind of a diva. Devontae Adams has been a model citizen, so shout out to him. Last two, these aren't football, but the Nets got fined $50,000 for letting Kyrie Irving into the locker room on Sunday, which, what are we doing here, NBA? You know, he wasn't fined because he was at the game. You know, he's allowed to be in the stadium now with no mask on as a spectator, right courtside, you know, breathing in and out all the same air as everyone else. But he steps into the locker room with his teammates, and he's fined the Nets as a team were fined $50,000 for that. It's just ridiculous. The NBA, the city of New York, everybody needs to change their rules immediately. It is just ridiculous. And then, you know, we all know if that happens, the Nets are going to win the championship, like I've been saying this whole time. So I'll leave it there on that. Baseball news, the Braves are trading for Matt Olson from the Athletics. So good first baseman coming in. That definitely means Freddie Freeman's gone now. I think we all kind of expected that, but Freddie Freeman is the big fish right now in free agency. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, there's been so many MLB moves. And this was what I was talking about with the lockout, and now that pushing free agency back. And now it pushed it back far enough that it's happening at the same time as NFL free agency. And as you see, I've talked for about 25 minutes now only on NFL free agency. I've barely even had time to talk about MLB. I just feel like, you know, NFL is going to be more exciting for me, probably for most people out there. You can let me know if I'm wrong. If you guys want me to talk about the MLB more, definitely let me know in the comments. Definitely hit me on Instagram at AVG Sports Nerds. Let me know, like, hey, you're doing it all wrong. Whatever, you know, I'm open, positive, negative feedback anyway. I'm not going to take it the wrong way. But, yeah, you know, with that being said, like, I just don't really have time to talk about the MLB, but I did just want to bring that up. I think, you know, I will definitely mention when Freddie Freeman goes somewhere, there are a few other guys that I'm definitely keeping an eye on with all that. So we shall see there. And, you know, for the last thing, let me just update my phone here. Let me see if... Gotta go back to JPA football one more time. See if he's broken any more news. He hasn't. So I'm out of here. Go ahead and like the stream, though, for sure. If you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps me, you know, grow. Help out the algorithm. We can get more people in here, you know, on a nightly basis. And, you know, interact more. You know, we need more Andreses out there, you know. So hop in the comments. Let me know what you think about anything I'm talking about, anything you want to talk about sports related. And with that, I'm out. You know, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Keep nerding it up.